I've played a game about digging a hole. It's all in the title there. This game came out last week and has done the rounds on the streams because I think that's, like we've talked about a lot of games, it's geared towards that. But it is a short, simple, very entertaining game by Cyberwave. These guys have created a simple premise. You buy a house, you check out the backyard, and you decide to dig for treasure. And so this essentially boils down to a clicker game, by all accounts. You head out into your little patch of land. I live in an apartment. I don't have a patch of land, so I was very excited to simulate it in this game. You head out trowel in hand, and you
What
start...
a transition.
You start little digging, tiny digging hole. What I mean is this thing has batteries in it. I don't have a real yard, so I don't know the terminology.
Little hole you
but
dig,
you start
tiny.
digging a
You
hole.
never dug a hole?
I've never dug a hole.
Oh my God.
But you start out with a tiny little trowel and can only take little chunks out of the ground. And before your trowel, and this is the one, I think, sort of concession the game has to make, is that your trowel has a battery and will run out of power eventually. So you need to upgrade.
That's how they work.
That's how they work?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Must get
As
into
someone who's
gardening.
dug heaps of holes, yeah, for sure.
There you go. So you start obviously making very slow progress
Oh,
as
wow,
you
that
dig
is slow.
down.
You were shocked by how little you did there.
It kind of was. As you dig down, you will discover rocks and minerals, but obviously the top layer is some very basic stones. You can then head back to the shed. You can sell those rocks.
It's your name, Sarah.
Then you can use that money that
Anus.
you make selling rocks to upgrade your trowel's battery. We're making anus jokes. I'm trying my best here.
You're doing great.
You can sell the rocks and the minerals to upgrade the battery in your trowel. You can also upgrade the digging device itself. You can then eventually buy different items, such as you can expand your inventory. You can have a longer life battery, and then eventually you can pick up extra items like dynamite.
Jetpack for?
Well, the jetpack is quite important because this game does exactly what you think it does, which is start very slow and boring, and then just becomes incredibly moorish as you start to create your cavernous space under the house, and as you start discovering new minerals the deeper you go, and a few other mysteries that are down there. It is a short game, so I don't want to spoil it. But
because I see you digging the hole and I see the
well,
different game.
That I have not
Where
gone
did you
through.
dig to?
That's where you get to in the hole.
I saw you digging the hole and the battery going down, but I noticed right next to the battery is a health bar.
Yeah, so, well, the reason is, and Josh, if you would scrub forward for me, you create a very, very deep cavernous space that, much like Minecraft, has some really cool moments of discovery where you will crack through into some pre-dug caverns. Sorry, Josh?
Are you
Sorry,
laughing
I didn't realize my mic was on.
Are you laughing at deep cavernous hole? Is that what you were laughing at?
Chat, mate, I said I just can't get over how ridiculous this looks. I'm sorry, guys.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I really enjoyed my time with this because it wasn't pretending to be anything else. Games can sometimes dress themselves up, in my opinion, to be a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, sometimes you can question, was that really worth my time? Like, games sometimes can feel a bit like a waste
Yeah,
of a
they're
time.
like, what if we dug a hole? And everyone was like, fucking.
This game is
yeah.
just like, this is all this game is, and it is moorish, it is addictive, it is such short
Addictive.
progression. Addictive, very good. It's
very
such
good.
short progression between little runs between the shed and coming back here that there's really no point to put it down. You do want to see what the next upgrade is. When you upgrade, the most probably satisfying part of the game is upgrading the digging tool. You eventually get to a drill, and once that happens, it is just like tearing away at the soil. And it would only be satisfying had you started with that little crappy trowel at the beginning. So much like a cookie clicker or something where it's like, this isn't fun in the second to second. Well, no, actually this is, but it's that evolution and that kind of scale of upgrading your gear and needing all these upgrades and carving your own little path down there. I've watched people stream this and it doesn't give you any hints on where to go. You are kind of at a loss.
You go down, Gus.
You go down, but create
dig a
little-
hole.
Well, originally, as you start digging down, you probably need to create a dig down on an angle because you need to get back out. But if you get the jetpack, you can use some of that battery power to just launch yourself out of there. So if you dug
Launch
straight
out of the
down,
hole.
Yeah.
Cool.
you wouldn't be able to climb out, so you use the jetpack. If you then need to get back in your hole and you've dug down 50 meters and you do jump down and don't use a jetpack to cushion your fall, you will lose health. So that's just
Can you die?
That's
you
it.
could totally die. Yeah.
And do you have to start again from the beginning?
Didn't die, don't know.
Okay.
Probably. But
I
yeah,
want to be
there's-
clear. I had a dig at the game, yes, chat, but I'm gonna play this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's Josh, you would love this. I think everyone would enjoy 2 hours of this game. Whether or not you want to get to the secret ending that's right at the bottom, that's up to you. I did, and it's on par with the game's sense of humor and what it's trying to be, which is not
Yeah.
a lot.
It looks so satisfying.
But it's a very fun 2 to 3 hours.
So, do you dig it?
I dug it very much, Ruby. Look, I started saying that this feels like a sort of shallow game that's made to stream and for people just to.
But then you dug
know.
a bit deeper and.
And then I dug a little deeper and I discovered there's a little more under the surface there, Sarah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's not much, but there's just
you got
enough
your hands
to
dirty and
justify
yeah,
the
yeah.
$7.50 price tag that this is asking. The developers clearly have used the tool set that they've had from different games they've developed. There's another one called Solarpunk and Hourglass, which are like beautiful, fleshed out real games. They all had literally the same models, lighting and everything. So
Are you
part
telling
of
me this hole is not fleshy enough for you?
what I'm thinking is that someone on the team, I don't like how that was. This is Site B, by the way, guys. I eventually decided after I got my upgrades.
Sorry, Ruby.
After I got my upgrades, I decided to move away from my initial hole and just dig straight down with my new drill. And this was where things got really.
Whoa, there
yeah,
we go.
you're all.
Oh, that
you're
was
walking it back
crazy.
now. It's,
Yeah.
I've got goosebumps.
It's cool. It's this becomes very addictive. But yeah, I appreciate that it feels like someone on the team over at Cyberwave was like, hey, I just used our tools that we've made other games with, and I made this. What do you guys think? And I like to think everyone on the team was like, this is fun.
Do you think
it
one-
shouldn't be, but it is.
Do you think one of them just watched Holes and was like, I've got the best
I can do this?
idea?
I can make this.
Call Shia LaBeouf.
See, I think this reminds me of that. Was it the lady on TikTok who's just building a big tunnel under her house?
Oh,
Do you remember
there's-
that lady?
that was so
Is that a
scary.
tunnel?
There's,
I remember that.
there's Colin Furs, is the British guy who's built a bunker under his house in the
Yeah.
UK. I follow him on YouTube. There is something quite quaint about the fact that it's in a backyard under your house. I think if this was just a regular paddock or something, it wouldn't have the same weird eeriness to finding
Yeah.
mine shafts underground and all this sort of
You
stuff.
find what?
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 Well, Peter, you'd have to play the game to
Also,
find
I
it.
would, but the reason I had my arms crossed this whole time was because it was making me very uncomfortable.
Oh,
The
you
little
have
holes?
trypophobia.
The little holes, I was thinking that too.
Trypophobia,
You
yeah.
have trypophobia, of course. I didn't
It
realize
was
that.
like it's not like I'm not scared of the game. I'm a big boy. I'm not scared of your little video game.
Be scared of Holes.
But I was a little bit intimidating to look at.
You were like,
"Ooh, yuck."
It looked a bit
The
gross.
Can you,
little
can
dig
you do a
holes.
nice
Looked a bit
smooth
gross.
hole?
Not at the start. That little
Okay.
trowel just like jab, jab, jab. So
Yeah.
not a good technique, but a really fun game, and I think unashamedly knows what it is. Just a 2 hours good fun digging. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed not streaming it. I was like, this is the perfect game to stream. Just me and my hole. The joy in which I ran back from the shed with an upgrade to be like, that's the funniest moment I caught myself playing the game. I'd run back, get the drill and be like, and then it's my virtual character running out of a shed and leaping into a hole in my backyard, like, gotta get back to my hole. And back in I went. I'm like, this is silly, but it's fun. So yeah, it's a good game.